1 Corinthians chapter 3. Well, I'm about to get right to the scripture. Shalom, more praise to Yahweh Shemel Shah, the Blind the Apostle GMS. This is Amnel Allah coming at you on the video. And in this video, I want to focus on the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 12. Let's get right to it. It says, now if any man build upon this foundation, matter of fact, I'm going to start from verse 11. 1 Corinthians 3 and 11. For other foundation can no man lay that is laid, which is Yahweh Shah. So Yahweh Shah is the only foundation. So everything, all the teachings of this truth of the Bible, Yahweh Shah is the foundation. So it starts with belief in Yahweh Shah. You're not going to truly be able to understand the scriptures unless you have faith in Yahweh Shah. You're not going to be able to be saved unless you have faith in Yahweh Shah. So everything starts with Yahweh Shah at the foundation, Yahweh Shah at the base. The foundation is the groundwork in which all things are built upon. Okay? That's the foundation. Think of it like a flower pot. You got a plant inside a flower pot. The dirt, the soil that's inside that flower pot, that's the foundation. You put the seeds into that flower pot. Put the seeds into it. You put the seeds into it, and what grows, and then the plants begins to grow. But that's the foundation. And you could then take that flower pot, once it grows and that soil in it becomes firm enough, you could take it out the flower pot and you could put it into the ground, and then put soil over it. And then in time, what's going to happen? It's going to take root in the earth. Or you could take the flower pot itself and just put it in the ground with the plant already coming out of it, and then put dirt over it. And eventually the plant is going to grow and grow and grow from that base. You know, you just don't take when somebody planting a tree, taking the tree out the ground and putting it from one form of dirt to the other. They doesn't say, okay, I'm just sticking it in the ground. They got to have a strong foundation, or else the wind will blow and it could fall down. A lot of these parks you see, these trees are real trees, but they were implanted there. They were planted there from another location. So the foundation got to be strong. You building a building, you got to have concrete. You got to have your sand, you got to have the concrete, you got to have the water. You got to mix it up to make it strong. That way the building won't sink. You got to have a strong foundation. Your legs, that holds up your body, you got to have strong legs, strong foundations. So everything starts with Yahweh Shah, the foundation. Verse 12. Now if any man build upon this foundation gold, silver, precious stones, wood, hay, stubble, every man's work shall be made manifest. So an example of a man building upon this foundation, gold, silver, precious stones, wood, hay, and stubble, those represent men, represent people coming into this truth. Now if a person is going through this fire, going through this tribulation, and they're able to become purged and cleansed by it, that's somebody that represents gold. That's somebody that represents silver. That's somebody that represents precious stones. They're able to accept the doctrine of this truth and believe. Now a person that's wood, hay, and stubble, and those are the ones that are going to last for a long period of time. Because if you take gold and silver and you put it into a fire, what happens? When you take gold and silver out of the earth, you just don't take it out. Oh look, this is gold and this is silver. No, it has something in it called dross. Dross, D-R-O-S-S. That's the unwanted metals. It has tin, aluminum, and you got to heat it up so that at a certain temperature, so that the aluminum and the tin and all them other unwanted metals can be purged or cleansed from it. That way you now have pure gold and pure silver. That's like a person that's coming into this truth and they're able to endure the tribulation that comes their way. The wood, hay, and the stubble, that's like a person that come into this thing and they're going to be burnt up quick. Because they can't really accept the teachings of it. They can't accept that, it's a lot of sacrifices that come with this word. A person that's wood, hay, and stubble, they're going to get burnt up quick. Okay? Now, if you look at the scripture, it says, now if any man build upon this foundation. So Paul is likening it unto someone building something on a foundation, someone building a building. Now, I want to go to something real quick. Here's the word called thatching. Thatching is the craft of building roofs, using dry vegetation such as straw, water reed, sedge, rushes, heather, or palm branches. The vegetation is layered to shed water away from the roof, and since the majority of the vegetation stays dry and is densely packed, thatching also functions as insulation. So an example of thatching is when you're building a roof with dry vegetation, and it mentions things like straw, right? Now this is from a website called campread.com. And like we mentioned before, we read the word hay in the book of 1 Corinthians, right? Hay is dry grass, legumes, and other types of like herbs, other types of vegetation. And thatching is when you're using vegetation for a roof. But let's keep reading. Cape Reed. The hazard of fire in your thatched roof. How to minimize the risk. Through the ages, the risk of fire has been the #1 negative aspect of a thatched roof. Many a thatched roof have been destroyed by this fearsome element, and even today, it is a question that is frequently asked: isn't a thatched roof a huge fire risk? It says many will be surprised by the answer. A thatched roof doesn't really have a higher fire risk than any other roof type. It all depends on whether proper precautions have been taken during the construction process. Let me see if I can find what I'm looking for. Here you go, right here. Are thatched roofs more prone to fire accidents than other roofing types? Thatched roofs are more susceptible to fire accidents due to their construction materials, such as straw and reeds, which are highly flammable. However, with proper fire safety measures, the risk can be significantly reduced. So we see an example that a thatched roof can be put on fire. And thatching is when you use different vegetation, right? And didn't it mention hay? So that's an example. That's why he's using the analogy of building something. You know, if you build something up with a thatched roof, like made out of hay, for example, it can cause a fire. Wood will burn for a while. Stubble will bring more fuel to the flame. But it's just giving you an example. Those are an example of people who, when tribulation comes, they just burn up. You know, they can't last. And it's truth. It's a problem with their job or their woman, their family, their kids, whatever it is, their health, whatever thing else may be plaguing them. You know, every man's work shall be made manifest, shall be made known. For the day shall declare it, because it shall be revealed by fire. So every man's work will be made known. So all of these people that come into the truth is going to be made known, if they're true believers, if they're of the elect. Because it shall be revealed by fire. It will be revealed by the tribulation that you undergo. And the fire shall try every man's work of what sort it is. So if you gold and you silver and you precious stones, you're somebody that's going to be able to deal with the fire. But if you wood, hail, stubble, you won't be able to. So when tribulation comes your way, it's going to figuratively burn you up. If any man's work abide which he built thereupon, he shall receive a reward. So if your work, if those who you teach and come into this faith and they believe, you're going to receive a reward. If any man's work shall be burned, he shall suffer loss, but he himself shall be saved, yet so as by fire. So if any man's work shall be burned, so if anybody come to the truth and they wind up, falling out, he shall suffer loss. You're going to suffer loss. You're going to, become apostate, but himself shall be saved. You're still going to be saved, yet so as by fire. Because you're going to be one who was tried by the fire and been proven that you were gold. And even though you suffer loss, you're still going to be saved because you did what you were supposed to do, even though somebody else fell out. Them falling out has nothing to do with you. Okay, that person fell out. They wasn't chosen. But that has nothing to do with you. There's a lot of guys that the apostles have taught and they've came into the truth and they fell out. Guess what? The apostles still going to receive their reward because they did what they were supposed to do. They did what they were supposed to do. So that's how you're supposed to be in this truth. You gotta do what you have to do so that you can be saved. You might think like, we going out teaching and doing shows, nothing's happening. Scriptures say what? When they say peace and safety, sudden destruction shall come upon them. So when it seems like everything is all good, in an instant the Most High gonna make it move. If you got doubt on that, then you gotta pray to the Most High. You gotta fast. You got something, going on with you spiritually. You gotta believe that the Lord gonna really come back. Sometimes it might seem like the Lord not doing anything, but the Lord is always doing something. And then when that day comes, and you see everything happening, if you fell out, you're gonna have regrets. You know? Fall out, get kicked out, whatever. So with that, I'm gonna close. I'm gonna say, oh praise Yahweh Bashim Yahshua, double line, say Pastor GMS. I hope I learned something. Shalom.